Alright, this is part 2 of a lesson about arcs and central angles. So if you have not watched part 1 yet, you should go back and watch that now. Because as I do part 2, I'm going to assume you know everything from part 1. So let's make that a reality. Arc PQ has a measure of 90 degrees in circle R. Find the length of segment PQ. Alright, well, we've learned that the measure of an arc and the measure of the central angle that intercepts it are the same. So, in other words, if we are told that arc PQ has a measure of 90 degrees, okay, if this is a 90-degree arc, then guess what that means about this angle? Alright, by definition, that means that this is a 90-degree angle. Which means we can use all of our right triangle knowledge. So, for example, this is a right triangle, yes, but this is still the radius of a circle. And RP, that's a radius. RQ is another radius. And if there's one thing I know about a circle, it's that every radius is the same, alright? It's going to be, if it's 7 from R to P, it's going to be 7 again from R to Q. So this is isosceles, so guess what? That makes this a 45, 45, 90 triangle. Now hopefully you remember the pattern of a 45, 45, 90 triangle. Alright, and if you forgot, here it is. It goes leg, leg, and then the hypotenuse is leg radical 2. So if this is 7, 7, then this will be 7 radical 2. Yeah, so that's the answer, actually, for number 19. Okay, so we're supposed to do something similar for this problem. It's really kind of the same thing. Alright, we're supposed to find the length of segment PQ. But if this is 10, then that means the other radius is 10. And that means that segment PQ here is 10 radical 2. Alright, it's just a straightforward application of your special triangle knowledge. Alright, you just had to understand that if the arc is 90 degrees, that means this is a right triangle. You know, the angle will be 90 degrees. Moving on. Find the indicated arc measure. So, we need to find the measure of arc AC. Okay, by the way, the measure of arc AC is like this right here. That's arc AC. Okay, well, we know a couple of things. We know that this is, of course, 90 degrees. So, we know that the whole circle is 360 degrees. So, if I take away the 90-degree angle, so 360 minus 90, that leaves 270 degrees for the rest of this. Now, what do you think these little red marks mean? That's right. These marks mean that these two arcs are congruent. So they're the same. So if I have 270 degrees and I need to share them equally between two arcs, obviously I'm just going to divide by 2. Kabam, kabam. 135 degrees. Alright, that means these are 135 degrees each. Alright, and you could check to see that this all adds up to 360. But the measure of arc AC is in fact 135 degrees. Alright. Similarly, if I want to find out what arc ACB is, first it would help to just know what each one of these is. Well, see these marks? That means they're congruent. That means we're looking at 360 divided by 3. Well, 36 divided by 3 is 12. So 360 divided by 3 must be 120. So that means each of these is 120 degrees. Alright, so if you ask me about arc ACB, alright, that's from A through C and around to B, well, that's two of them. Alright, so two of these together, 120 plus 120 is 240. So that's going to be the measure of arc ACB, 240 degrees. Okay, measure of arc DAB. First, let's find out the measure of these little arcs here with the marks on them. Now, you see, hopefully, that this is a diameter right there. AD is a diameter. That means we have 180 degrees up here. Okay, so check it out. If you start with 180 degrees up top, and this is 90 degrees, so 180 degrees minus 90 is 90 degrees. That means 90 degrees are left, but that 90 degrees has to be shared equally between this and this. So in other words, it's 90 degrees divided by 2, which is 45 degrees. So this is 90 degrees, but that means these two are 45 degrees. And again, you could add them up and convince yourself that together this makes 180 degrees. So now that we know that, we should be able to answer anything you want. Okay, so they want the measure of arc DAB. Okay, DAB is like this. DAB. Alright, well, again, this part is a semicircle. So that's 180 degrees. So we're talking 180 degrees plus an extra 45. That is 225 degrees. Alright, for the next set of problems we have to sketch our own picture and then we can answer the question. So, two diameters of circle T are PQ and RS. So first of all, if this is circle T, that means T is the center. Alright, so there you go. Now, PQ and RS are diameters. So let's draw that. Alright, PQ and RS. Alright, so there's a diameter. So let's call this PQ. So this is PQ. Alright, and now let's draw diameter RS. Alright, so there's our diagram. Now, find the given arc measure if arc PR, measure of arc PR is 35 degrees. Okay, so arc PR is right here, and this is 35 degrees. So that's what we're given. Now, before I do anything else at all, let's do some more calculations. These are called vertical angles. When you make an X like this, it forms 4 angles, and the angles that are across from each other are always equal. They're called vertical angles. So if this is 35 degrees, then this will be 35 degrees. Now, because, for example, over here you have a semicircle, okay, from here to here is a semicircle. In other words, this is a diameter, okay? So that means we're looking at a total of 180 degrees in here, in this sunshine area. That's 180 degrees. So if this is 35, then we're talking about 180 degrees minus 35. Okay, so we are talking about 45 145 degrees. Okay, so 145 degrees is this angle and this arc. They're the same thing. Now these are vertical angles as well. So if this is 145 degrees, that means this will be 145 degrees. So now that we know all of the angles, which means we know all of the arcs, we should be able to find whatever they happen to ask us. Alright, so let's see what they actually ask. What is the measure of arc PS? Okay, arc PS is this arc down here from P to S. So that's 145 degrees. We already found that. Alright, what about arc, the measure of arc PSR? Okay, PSR is the long way around here. Okay, PSR starts at P, it goes through S, and it goes all the way around and back to R. That's PSR. PSR is the entire circle minus 35 degrees. It's everything except this. So in other words, we're talking about 360 minus the 35 degrees. Okay, 360 minus 30 would be 330. So this must be 325 degrees. Okay, what about the measure of arc PRQ? Okay, so PRQ. Well, this is a diameter. That's a semicircle. So without even adding these up, we know that's 180 degrees. Alright, what about PRS? Okay, PRS goes from P to R through R and all the way back around to S. Okay, so I could think of that as the entire circle except for 145 degrees. Alright, so in other words, I could think of that as 360 minus 145 degrees. Okay? So that's 215 degrees. Alright, I also could have looked at it as 180 degrees plus 35, alright? Because from S to R, that's a semicircle plus another 35 degrees. Okay, either way you get 215. Alright, what's next? Oh, was that it? Alright, looks like that's the end of the lesson. I hope it was helpful, and I will see you on the next video.